Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Marine Wisdom. Today, we're going to be discussing a checklist for your engine room rounds. Now, this question can be asked by surveyors in many forms. They could ask you, what are the things that you're going to check on the bottom platform, on the upper platform, on the middle engine room platform, so on and so forth. And not just from an exam point of view, but also when you're doing watch keeping and carrying out engine room rounds. This checklist would come in handy as it is a practical checklist that I've made. So let's dive right into it. Now, this is for a container ship, however, the key points remain the same for all types of ships. So let's start with the upper engine room round. Now, the engine room round typically starts with you being outside the engine room, right at the top, at the funnel, and you basically observe the smoke. So the smoke ideally should be, almost transparent, slightly grayish. That implies that we have proper combustion, and if it's black, that means it's a problem. We have excessive fuel. If it's white, that means we have excessive air. So it should ideally be slightly grayish, almost transparent. And if sparks are coming out of a funnel, that means it indicates a fouled economizer and we need to do some soot blowing. Now, this is serious because this could lead to an uptake fire. So, soot blowing is very important, regular soot blowing. And if we are at port, we cannot be emitting any black smoke because that is an offense. Now, moving on to our exhaust gas boiler. We will first check for the water level in both the gauge glasses and we'll confirm if this matches with the remote indicator in the engine control room. We should also blow through the glasses at least once in 2 days, as this would ensure that both our steam line and our water line is clear and that there's no obstruction and we are not getting a false reading. Then we'll check the pressure differential across the economizer, and for this we have a YouTube manometer, and if the pressure differential exceeds the normal amount, that indicates that our gas side of the economizer is fouled. Then we will go to the chemical dosing tank, and on my ship we used to use auto treat. So depending on what you use, you must ask your second engineer or your third engineer on the dosing requirements, and you should basically, for like a certain amount of water, have a certain amount of chemicals. So don't just have an estimate. Ask people, ask your seniors, and dose accordingly. Then we'll check the exhaust gas temperature before and after the economizer, and this basically gives us an indication of fouling or afterburning. We should also check if the main steam stop valve is free to move, and just move it a few revolutions, as this is important. It should not be jammed or stuck, as we might need to shut it for emergencies. So do this at least once in 3 days, and then have a general good look all around. Check for all the valves and the valve glands for leaks. Check the steam line drains if there's any steam leaking, and just use all your senses as you're carrying out engine room rounds. Now, moving on to our auxiliary boiler, let's first check if our flame is stable. So we'll go to the side class and see if our flame is stable and smokeless as shown in the picture here. The burner area should be free of oil and leaks, and proper housekeeping should be ensured because leaks can pose a major fire hazard. Then we'll check the fuel oil temperature and the pressure, and this is right before or right next to our burner. So check for the fuel temperature and the pressure and see if it is in range. We would also top up the chemical dosing tank like we did for the exhaust gas boiler. Now, moving on to the auxiliary boiler control panel, we should check if there are no alarms and the panel is free of alarms. There should be no high water level alarm, no low water level alarm. so on and so forth. And the next point is that we'll check the position of the air damper. So this arrow that you're seeing, that should be stable, and basically if it's moving or if it's shaky, it means there's some problem with the control system, or the linkages are worn out. So keep an eye on the position of the air damper as well. Now moving on to seal pots. Seal pots are basically placed above or below the EGB platform, the exhaust gas boiler platform. So they're usually placed on the upper decks, and the purpose of these seal pots is to drain the water entering the funnel when it is raining outside. So instead of going to the turbochargers, that is, instead of taking this path and damaging the turbocharger, it is instead draining through the seal pot. So basically we have a connection from the funnel line to the seal pot. And second function that it serves is it prevents the exhaust gas from leaking out into the engine room. So basically it acts as a water seal, and the exhaust gas is sealed because of the water inside this seal pot. So we usually have a marking over here, somewhere over here. This is to know to what level we need to fill the water. So usually the motorman or the wiper is responsible for this, and but even if you are on rounds, you should always check for the water level, because this acts as a water seal for the exhaust gas. And just fill it till this level. So this line comes from the funnel, and this is the drain. So all the water overflowing drains from this line. Moving on to a domestic AC compressor, we'll first go to the control panel and we should check the load current. It should be in range and it should not be too high. If it's too high, it means there is some obstruction. Maybe the bearing is seized or single phasing is happening. And if it's too low, it means the shaft is slipping, there is something wrong with the coupling, and there can be many other problems. Then we'll also check the suction and discharge pressure on our panels, the respective temperatures, and it should also be in the range as specified in the manual. We'll also check for the oil pressure on the panel, and when the compressor is running, the oil level in the gauge glass should be half full. So it should not be too high or too low, it should be half full. We should then proceed to check the belt tightness, and this is obviously done for a shut compressor which is isolated. So the belt tightness can also visually be checked for a running compressor, but only visually. If the belt is sort of like flapping around, moving up and down a little, so that can indicate that something is wrong with the belt tightness. Now this is all for part 1 of the video. I'm going to be uploading more parts where we explore the middle engine room platform and the bottom engine room platform. So please like, comment and subscribe, and please comment Marine Wisdom in the comments so that I can know that you guys are actually watching it till the end. And if you have any inquiry, please comment, and I will be linking our Instagram in our description. We take classes for class 4, class 2 and class 1 competency exams. So if you guys are interested, please leave a comment below or reach out to us on Instagram. Thank you.